All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Green White Checkered Podcast. It is post All-Star Race Week. I am your host, Zach, also known as Biggles. I'm joined by Joseph Sullivan,
Hi.
Austin Drake, and Andrew Fitzgerald. Almost said Andrew Drake. That was really close.
Long lost brother.
Very easy to mix them up. We're here to talk about the exciting All-Star race. NASCAR's return to North Wilkesboro. What do you guys think? What are our thoughts and reactions to it?
Burn it down. Get rid of it.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, what a
Let it go to the earth, I think is what
You're
Burton
talking about
said.
the next gen car, right?
Burn that.
Yeah.
Send that into the sun, please.
Does composite bodies burn? I don't know.
Does
Oh, we're gonna
composite
find out.
bodies
I'm sure they
melt
melt.
steel beams? I don't know.
All right, this
I
just
thought-
turned into a whole nother podcast.
I thought
Joe Rogan now.
the track was amazing.
The track is phenomenal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Everything around the whole week, from the Cars Tour, trucks, and all that was awesome. Happy to watch all of it, but man, that Cup race, woof.
I think
Yeah.
one of the opens was pretty good. The second open, the one with Ty Gibbs and
open.
McDowell and all that. Well, the first one wasn't super exciting, was it?
That was the rain tires one.
Yeah.
Well, they were both.
I think-
You're thinking
think
of
they both-
qualifying races.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh, am I thinking of heats? What do we
Yeah.
think of the heats? Do we want to do heats? I'm not a fan of heats.
I don't
think
get the point.
I think it's
yeah,
kind of
that was
redundant.
weird. I don't know.
Yeah,
You-
I don't see the point. And we were kind of talking just before we went live. We had the pit crew challenge on Friday for qualifying position, and then Saturday we come and we do the qualifying races. Basically, like let's just.
I think wasn't pit road to qualify for the heat qualifying, and then the heat finishing
Yeah,
was for
yeah.
the. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, why are we
Why?
qualifying for the qualifying for the qualifying? Like,
Yeah, it
think-
was a lot of
one.
qualifying, I did feel like.
I think heats set you up for like a negative conversation right out of the bat because people watch a heat and there's 10 cars in each heat. We already know the short track package sucks. So you have 10 cars that can't race together very well. What are you really going to see that's exciting? And nobody wants to wreck their car because one,
Yep.
you got to race it the next night. Two, this is the All-Star, and I don't think teams are super willing to tear up cars
yeah,
if
for
they
an
don't
exhibition
think they're for an exhibition race where second place in the overall thing doesn't pay anything. So let alone you're not going to tear it up in a heat race. So
And-
I don't know. I think it just sets up like a negative conversation right out of the gate. I don't know why you really bother with it.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're trying to be like, oh, this is how they do it at short tracks, or
I mean, I guess that's what the angle they were going for, but we're not a short track.
Yeah.
We don't have a 60 car field trying to make the main.
exactly.
Yeah.
We're actually working with a reduced field for the All-Star race. So
Yeah.
And then
I mean,
they're
Yeah,
kind of
but
more
if-
fun at the Clash. The Clash, they're kind of more fun with what they do. Well, they're not even. Well, yeah, they are heats. That's a
yeah,
little more.
but that's
That's
all
different.
like qualifying the same day, everything. Like
Yeah.
that's more
Yeah.
your local racetrack type feel. Whereas this
Mhm.
was, qualifying one day, qualifying again the next day, and then we're finally racing the next day. So it's a 3-day thing just to get. I don't know. I didn't like that. Again, just make it an all day thing, or I mean, even after the truck race, you could have done the pit crew challenge and
yeah.
whatever else. I still don't see the point though.
And I'd even say go back to what you did it in the mid to late 2000s, early teens, where you had the pit crew challenge at the Spectrum Arena, Uptown Charlotte, where it's the side by side, and they got the pit crews pushing. That's like, I think that was during the week, but it had no bearing on starting position for the races. And then you had the 2-lap qualifying where you had, or I think 3-lap qualifying where you had to take a 4-tire pit stop, and you came in 100 miles an hour down pit road. That was fun. That was awesome. I love watching that on TV, and I think it was right before the open race too. So, like, I don't get why you're trying to.
Can you do both at the same time? Like,
What?
couldn't you have the? Because I mean, my favorite format was like you said, the full speed into the pit lane,
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
those were awesome.
and then I mean, we time pit stops anyway. So team with the fastest pit stop also wins. That's sort of your pit crew challenge
Yeah, I'm down for that. Yeah, knock it all out in one shot. There you go.
instead of having two whole separate events.
I will say I did like, once all the qualifying was over, I did like the format of this one a lot better. I feel like they got rid
Yes.
of any kind of gimmicks. Like,
Yeah,
it was just very much straightforward, like 100 laps, like comp caution in the middle, whatever. then 200 laps. It's not like wasn't too broken up, wasn't too crazy, wasn't super complicated, or you need to read a novel to understand what the format was. It's just here's what it is, straightforward. So I did like that about it.
I liked it, but I actually think the single comp caution kind of ruined things.
Yeah, get that out of here.
Yeah,
I
for
agree.
sure.
We would have had pit stop strategy if that didn't happen. So, I mean, it's better than what we've been dealing with for the last God knows how long, with just random formats every year that make no sense, and you have to have a college degree to try to understand it.
Oh yeah,
But,
seriously.
I mean,
I do have like a mini rant on this.
Good.
Because the one thing I did see on Twitter was like people were wanting a caution there towards the end, which I don't really have an issue with. But then I saw people on Twitter saying stuff like, oh, this is why we have stages. You take away stages, now everybody wants a caution. There's a difference between wanting a caution for cause and a planned stage break. Like they're two totally different things. A natural caution brings this air of unpredictability to it and it helps shake things up. But our stage cautions, we all know what we're doing. Like, why nobody took tires in that first segment? Because they knew they were getting a caution at lap 100. Like, so the stages, like, planned segments isn't what people want. We want, natural things to occur. Just because I want a caution doesn't mean I want a stage caution.
And I'm shocked they didn't throw the old-fashioned debris caution. Have a little, deep cover agent throw a water bottle or beer can on the track. Hey, look at that in turn 4. There's a caution.
No Rick Ware cars in there to do their obligatory spin, but I mean,
yeah, sadly,
I see your point, Zach, but also I don't like. I don't think that. I agree that a big thing with stages is that it removes a lot of strategy, because a caution's coming. But I think the reason people were crying for cautions there at the end was because Larson had a 5-second lead, 6-second lead on everyone, so they wanted to re-rack up the field. So then I think the argument was, okay, you want to re-rack the field, but yet you hate when stages re-rack the field. So part of me is I see your point, but also I don't know if that's what that guy was going at, because I think that's part of the dichotomy with NASCAR fans is that we don't. In my mind, I think a lot of times we don't know what we want. We think we want the racing of old, but then you go back to the racing of old, and you got Richard Petty winning by 12 laps, and you got the whole field spread out by 20 seconds a piece. And I think that, I don't know. That's more of a rant than I want to get into right now. I'll save that for later. But I think that, I don't know. I see that guy's point. I saw that tweet you're talking about, or some tweets about what you were talking about. But I don't know. I definitely see his point. I think that NASCAR fans are very hard to please. I
mean, me personally, I don't care if somebody puts on a clinic and kicks everybody's ass. But what I don't like is nothing going on throughout the rest of the field.
Right.
That's what I felt like we get. That's what I feel like we get a lot is the leader will check out, but then there's also not much else going on. You watch old races and there's a battle everywhere. Even if the leader's checked out and half a lap ahead, there's a battle for third. There's a battle for seventh. There's something going on, but it's just you don't seem to get that. Like they're even at these slow short tracks in a place like North Wilkesboro where they don't have any traction. There still seems to be like this gap that they can't break. Like they're there for a little bit, but then after a while they kind of, I don't know if it's like arrow going on or what, but they just can't stay close for a long period of time. So let alone bump somebody and nudge them, or get under the spoiler, pack air. I know you wouldn't really pack air at North Wilkesboro going 4 miles an hour, but so we're talking more broadly.
I don't know if you were listening to it, Zach, but according to the Fox race director, there was great racing in the back.
Yeah, why don't you show us?
Yeah.
Well, that's
I never saw that.
So this is kind of where I mentioned I had a somewhat hot take. It's not like super flaming hot. I don't want to overhype it here, but this is kind of where, and I may have I think I've mentioned this take before, but
sizzling take.
Yeah, it's like the fajitas that come out of the plate. It's like it's not like crazy.
Everybody's looking at it.
Yeah, but everyone's looking at it. It draws attention to it. So the cars were hard to drive here. The pavement, no grip. Saw cars sliding all over the place. Obviously, the wide tires still couldn't get them moved without ramming the guy in front of you for a bump and run, whatever. But cars were hard to drive, right? We all saw that. And then the field was spread out, and then everyone complained it was a boring race. But we've also argued that we want harder to drive cars. So I guess my question is, and something that again, this is a very smallly formulated thought, but does a hard to drive car naturally create this kind of racing because there's a larger margin for error. So like if you like think about Gen 6 intermediates, it's boring racing, but they were generally somewhat close to each other a lot of the times. But they're flat out the entire time. Around Charlotte, they're flat out most of the time, super packed to the track, very high aero, very small margin for error because you're lifting off the gas for how long? Like halfway off throttle on fresh tires, halfway off throttle around the track. Obviously, as it goes, you get a little bit more. But with this car, there's so much more margin, or with this track, with this low grip, there's so much more margin for error. So does that naturally create wider gaps in the field and thus less close racing? So that's
I don't think so.
Explain. Why not?
I think that these cars are so close that the difference in speed isn't great enough that you don't have like comers and goers like you used to. And like the cars are so similar. Everybody just runs the same speed for the most part. I mean, you'll have somebody who's a little bit better, and that's usually who will be like your Larson who runs away. But, and not to sound too pedantic, but I think there is a right kind of hard to drive. Like these things seem to, like they have an edge. I mean, we talked about it before. They're like GT cars. They have a line and you can't cross it. If you step out, I mean, you see a couple guys do it, step out a little bit, get crossed up and maybe catch it. But a lot of the times they bite you when you try to catch them. You look at old cars. I don't know if it's the thicker sidewall. I don't know if it's suspension. I don't know any of that. But the cars of old, they were able to, even the Xfinity car, it's able to actually step the back end out and slide around the corner and be just fine. So I think that limit is tighter and you can't really cross it as well. So that's sort of my pedantic answer to the right and wrong way of a hard to drive car. But I don't know. I think the cars are very similar to each other, and I think when you make cars all the same, they're going to run similar speeds. So you're not going to have somebody, rock it out who's really good on a short run and then slowly come back, and then somebody in the long run who's good on a long run, pass 15 cars and get the lead. Like, I don't know. I just don't think you're going to.
To me, though, that doesn't make a huge amount of sense. It does make sense, but at the same time, it doesn't, because if there is a big difference in the cars, then the leaders just are up at the front and they're far away from the rest of the pack anyway. But instead,
you'd think, but it didn't seem to be that way back in the day. I mean, I'm not saying not all races
Richard
were like
Petty
that. Certainly,
12 laps wasn't a.
That's not what I mean by back in the day. I'm not talking about the 60s
Richard
and 70s.
Petty showed up with $60,000 in a motor versus a guy that showed up with a crate motor from junkyard.
Oh,
well,
God,
exactly, which is the difference in equipment. So it's.
I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about the 60s and 70s. That era was. I think those stats are blown up.
Okay, so who won 90% of the race? Like what team? There was the same as what we've always had. The same 3-4 teams winning 90% of the races.
I mean, yeah, well, you're always going to have more money, gives you more speed, and gets you up front. I mean, you're going to see the same thing with this car. I mean, last year we saw all different teams winning. We had how many different winners from big teams to little teams, but now as teams continue to invest and continue to study the car, and now you're starting to see the engineering dollars come to the front, who are we seeing winning all the time again? You're seeing Hendrick and Gibbs and who else?
Penske got one.
Mm-hmm.
Penske got one, but their Ford is so slow.
Yeah.
What teams have been penalized in the last 2 years?
Hendrick,
Gibbs, Penske, Gibbs.
Huh.
Oh, weird.
Ain't cheating, ain't
Penske
trying.
was penalized? What am I
Last
forgetting?
year.
Were they?
Yeah.
What did they get hit with?
Being a bunch of pussies.
It was Logano's team.
I remember that rule. Yeah, I remember that rule.
Yeah.
They didn't like Logano. They just penalized.
They did that.
If you have Joey Logano on your team and Brad Keselowski,
50
you're automatically
points.
penalized 50 points and $100,000.
I like it. Are you thinking of RFK? I don't know.
RFK got. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if Penske got a R&D.
Maybe I'm just thinking. Weren't they also a tire deal like Penske or RFK?
No, RFK had
I
the
thought that was all
RFK had
RFK.
Brad got hit with the tire thing first, but then they determined it was for safety and let that go. And then I think a couple weeks later they got RFK for something an R&D.
Say,
I don't
feel
think
like
Penske,
Logano's team got.
much as I hate to say it, I don't think Penske got dinged.
Yeah,
I
I
wish
don't
they did,
recall them
but-
getting hit with anything.
Regardless,
be fun.
though, if having cars too
Oh,
close
okay.
in speed to each other result. Sorry, go ahead.
It was RFK and Penske both did the wheel thing together.
Ah, that's
Yeah,
right.
but they all got away with that, didn't they?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a
yep.
safety
They didn't
or
get
whatever.
they didn't get hit.
I mean, yeah, I get your point, especially with short tracks, and we see that come out in short tracks where your cars aren't different enough to make those passes. But still, if your car is different enough to make that pass, you're going to make those passes, then just be up front, and then you're still going to be racing the same guys like in the same way. Your car's not going to be different enough from a Gibbs car any more different than it is now between like a Hendrick and a Gibbs car to like make those passes. So I see your point. I think again, this isn't like I'm not fully believing even in what I'm saying, more so kind of a devil's advocate kind of situation, but I don't know. I don't know if that's, I don't know if I fully agree with that point.
All I can say is go back and watch some like early 2000s races. That's all I can really say. I can't.
One season of 05 and suddenly becomes the expert
I'm an
of
expert.
Gen 4.
I'm a NASCAR historian.
Dude. It's like
I already put it in my LinkedIn profile, my resume.
He's like the dude who does a semester abroad and just won't shut up about it. God.
I know everything.
I watched the Dixie 500 at Talladega. Let me tell you.
That's right. I'm like Drake, who goes to Germany one time and now changes his VPN so he gets German targeted.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So now we get a German listener. Just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. It's
well.
Good.
I mean, you go back to those years. I posted a picture right after our podcast last week of Gordon and Biffle racing, and Gordon's car. I mean, he's right behind Biffle, but his car's sitting a foot off the ground.
They're so high up.
Yeah, it looks
like
ridiculous.
Yeah,
but the thing is, back then they could get to the guy's bumper and move him if they needed to. And all you hear now are the drivers talking about how there's a giant bubble behind the car that they can't get there. And if they do, then they're burning their tires up to get there.
Right.
And it's just limited racing. And then if you do make a mistake, you drop a gear and you go. And I think the lack of horsepower makes it to where you just go full throttle, and guess what? You got grip. So
even then, if you get to the guy, you can't put him out of the way because these cars are so glued to the ground. You gotta literally wreck a guy to get by him, essentially.
Yeah, and we saw Ty Gibbs just push McDowell. I mean, he was pushing McDowell. And McDowell, he slid up a little bit, but he's going 5 miles an hour faster, getting pushed by somebody. But yeah, before you do half of what that was, and McDowell's turned, right? So we just have way too much grip for, short tracks. We have not enough power to get the cars upset at all on throttle. And then if you make a mistake, we have a way to correct it without any repercussions. So
yeah.
Dude, it was crazy how light they could hit each other and knock somebody out of the way back in the day.
Yeah.
Like it's just like I forgot. I remember it now that I'm like watching some of these races. I remember seeing like there's arguments. Did he touch him? Did he not touch him? Because like it's so light. Like you're just right there. And it's even if it's just a little bit of turbulent air, it's enough to disturb the back end of the car. So, I mean, I think, again, we're not engineers on here. We know more than them, so we didn't have to go to school. I think the easiest thing to try, the cheapest thing, would be yank all that underbody stuff out, raise the cars up, like Andrew says, and see what you get. I mean, and I think Junior said, I think it was Junior a couple weeks ago who was saying about a different brake caliper. So that it increases the braking zone, which makes sense. Like it's like a harder brake caliper or something, so they don't stop as well. So I mean, really, you could change the entire, balance of the car and how it handles, basically for a set of brake calipers. I think if you take out the diffuser and jack it up and put those calipers. Fuck it.
Yep.
You're not going to make the short track package any worse.
Well, and this brings me to something else that was said during the week. So Saturday night, we raced on rain tires, right? And Chase Elliott does an interview, and he says,
he's getting a little more sassy.
What a perfect time to test this out. And I agree, it is. It's a great time to test it out. So would have been, at 100 horsepower. Take that restrictor plate on that they have.
I'm telling
you. Open it up. And let's see what we got. We know the short track package isn't working. We've had, 2 or 3 short tracks since they gave it to us. And it hasn't put on a good race. I mean, Richmond was a little bit better, but it still wasn't great, right? So make another change for this race.
I'm just convinced.
And it's
I'm just convinced you're not going to see a horsepower bump anytime soon. NASCAR is going to avoid that. To the hybrid.
Yeah.
NASCAR is going to avoid that at all costs.
I agree. Well, and like you're saying, this is the All-Star race. They do weird shit with the car almost every year. They're trying out stuff. They're the louvers I think came from an All-Star race. Like, why not just throw in a couple more horsepower and see what happens? I
mean, Kyle Larson threw in an extra 50 horsepower. Why didn't everybody else?
Yeah. Well, Rick threw that in his car that season, so
it appears.
I think it's the same reason why NASCAR doesn't move the numbers back to their normal position for the throwback weekend like everybody wants. How everybody wants them to put the
They
door.
don't want to be proven wrong.
They don't want to start that conversation. As soon as they say, okay, for throwback weekend, you can put the numbers on the center of the door again. And everybody's going to say, look at how great these things look. Then they're going to have that whole argument all over again. So I think for the same reason they don't want to do that, they don't want to add horsepower just for All-Star weekend.
That's
Can I just flip this a little bit? I'm gonna put my foot in Drake's slippers here for a second. Are we expecting too much out of the All-Star race? Like what are we really hoping for here? It's just an exhibition event where the winner gets paid $1 million. Second gets
want
nothing.
good racing. I just want good racing.
But I mean, like when you watch, the I don't know, whatever baseball does for their All-Star event. What are you really expecting? What do they do? A home run derby or something?
Yeah.
They even play a real game?
Yeah.
What about football? What do you expect for the?
That's a flag football game now, but yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
but they don't have $1 million.
This isn't like line. No, and that's supposed to be incentive. But I mean, when I don't know, what do you want? Everybody to go in there and tear up $400,000 cars or win $1 million? So I don't know.
Rock race?
Well, here's my thing. It's been $1 million since what, 90 something?
Yeah, that's true.
Why is it not like 3 or 4 million by now?
What if instead of doing this whole $1 million thing for the All-Star race, do Denny's bracket challenge idea? Take the $1 million, reinvest it, and then increase it for Denny's little bracket challenge. That seemed to get. I don't know. Did that kind of lose steam though?
Give $1 million and some playoff points. I don't know, because points matter a lot to these guys. I bet they go beat Bang a little bit more for that, and it's only for first place, right? Give them, I don't know, whatever, 25 points. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't like
maybe
that.
I don't like that at all.
Hey,
especially if you're talking about doing gimmicky formats or like different packages.
Just throwing it out there. That's all.
Never throw anything out there again.
I think the best idea, honestly, is kind of what I think. Drake, did you say about run IROC? Is like, give them, make them all buy late models or something. Some cheap, like even just a street stock if you want to keep costs low.
Do the trophy truck. What's that rental trophy truck thing that those guys are doing? Or like,
I think
literally rent the trophy truck. Just do that. No one has to buy anything.
Screw that. We can all. Everybody go to Home Depot and get those rented pickup trucks.
Get a riding lawnmower. Take the blades off.
Yeah,
can't touch it. It has to be, full stop. Keep them on. If you
24 drivers show up with the U-Haul thing that says rent this for $24 on the side of it.
But even back to the late model thing, like I think Landon Huffman posted a YouTube video a few weeks ago where he's like, "This is how much it costs to run to build a late model." I guess he didn't include the engine, and obviously he's a lower budget team compared to others. It's like 50 to 75K.
Here's an idea.
Compared to what, 500 grand for these cup cars? That saves you a bunch of money right there, and it'd be a much better race.
But I mean, you're buying a car to run one exhibition race.
That's true.
What if we give old Ray Evernham a call? Do a little cross promotion thing. Well, they got them SRX cars.
Ray's not involved with that anymore.
He's not?
Nope.
Oh no, that's right. He's not.
Wow, I did not know that. Shows how much I paid.
He did the first season and then he was out. Is that even a thing anymore? I haven't heard anything about it.
It still is. Yeah, it still is.
When's that run? All 4 of their races?
It's like June.
Yeah.
I think, or something like that.
But I mean,
that's right. Like Brad's gonna run a race or something like that.
I think they actually have a lot of NASCAR guys running it this year.
They do this year, yeah.
So I might actually check it out.
Kyle Busch is doing a couple. Yeah, they got a few guys in there.
So I mean, there's a bunch of cars. It does, and that's what I don't like about it. I just want to see some fun short track racing, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you can get some late model teams to let you rent their cars for a week or whatever. I mean, and some of these guys have connections. I mean, Junior has his late model team. I don't know.
A lot of them have late model teams.
It's just what do we want? What do we want from the All-Star race? Do you want guys doing a short track event and going in there and beating and banging and tearing race cars up? Well, I'm going to tell you, they're not going to do it with their $400,000 cup cars.
Here's what I think, and get
them hobby stocks, little Honda Civics.
Again, $1 million is not enough. right? Again, it should be probably 4 million by now. But and if you put that up, I think teams are going to be more interested in winning it, like trying actually harder. Because guess what, $4 million is a lot of money now. Where 1999, $1 million is a lot of money. But the drivers are paid in contracts now. They're not getting this money. The majority.
No, that's the other thing.
Teams. So
they try to sell this on who's racing for $1 million. Well, fucking nobody.
Rick Hendrick.
If you want to be honest.
Well, I think
Going
I think it depends on their contract too.
It does. They have different
sometimes-
agreements.
Yeah.
But we don't know. Like the contracts are hitting. I hate the fucking.
Well,
I think even
right now.
before, even without contracts, it's not like the driver walks away with all $1 million. They still
Yeah.
the team gets
Taxes
some
and
and,
team
and
gets
all
we
that.
talked about it. You kind of have a choice when negotiating your contract. Do you want a base salary, a higher base
Mhm.
salary, and less percentage of your race winnings, or a higher percentage of your race winnings but a lower base salary? So, but yeah, either way, you're not getting that full million. So,
No. And then if you tear up a $400,000 race car to do it, to get that million, old Daddy Rick's gonna be having a conversation
reach in
with
your
you.
pockets for that one.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. So I don't know. Maybe the answer is maybe we don't just pay the winner. Maybe have a prize for second and third
It should pay me
to entice more racing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Good.
I don't know if the incentive is there. I don't know if our expectations for an all-star race is too high. You know, I just don't know. I don't know what to do with this all-star race because I can't justify if I'm a team owner and I don't think I have a shot at actually just walking away with it like Larson did. I'm not going to tell my guys.
Why would
to
I
go in
let
there.
anyone run the Open? What's the point
Right.
of being? You're a smaller team. You don't have as much money.
Right.
You're not gonna win the main race. Like
No, so
anyone
you're-
in that Open, except maybe like Josh Berry or Gibbs, are gonna win the Open or the
Yeah.
the
And they-
final. And
they did.
yeah. So it's just
Yeah.
I mean, no, the final after the Open. I mean, like
Oh yes.
it's
Yeah.
like so. What's the what you know? If I'm Spire Motorsports, I'm not letting Corey run. You know, like
Hell no.
it's just you're just gonna potentially tear up a race car.
What's the cost to get the car to the track? Even
Right.
just that.
Yeah.
Especially
And
when it's
then
in
you-
Texas. You're driving halfway
Yeah,
across the country.
really. That was ridiculous.
To run a few laps. I mean, yeah,
Well-
I don't know.
Of course,
Yeah.
they do it for the Clash all the way across the country, and they don't win really much of it. I don't know what the
Well, we
prize
had-
is, but I don't know.
One of the teams was crying about it last year going to Texas and how, they had no shot to make it into the race. Why do they have to go?
Right.
And I mean, NASCAR tells them they have to go. So
This is a charter, yeah. If they have a charter, you gotta go. So
Yeah, so I don't know what you do with the All Star race. I'm kind of, I don't know.
Just bring it back
I-
to Charlotte, and we'll call it.
I agree. Bring it back to Charlotte, baby.
I mean, yeah, if you're gonna do anything, that makes the most sense, honestly.
the home track.
Like I love
man.
North Wilkesboro, but at the very least, you can at least then justify running because okay, I don't have a shot at winning this, but Coke 600s next week, so I can
Right.
use it as a little bit of a test. So I get a little bit of value out of it as a team owner,
Sure.
even if I can't win. So
Yeah.
So maybe we should just run the All-Star race at Charlotte and make a whole week of it, and
Like
oh
we
wait,
used to.
it's
have
like
to travel
we
and
never had to. It's like we never did that ever before for many years.
Yeah.
That's wild.
But
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
not saying I want to get rid of North Wilkesboro. I think that should
no,
be
not at
No.
all.
Make it a points race. Fix the short
Yes.
track package. Make it.
I'm telling you.
That's short
Make-
track package.
Take out Chicago Street Course. North Wilkesboro 4th of July weekend is your event.
Easy. I'll be there.
I'm telling you, that would be a banger.
That'd be sick.
I will say, I think North Wilkesboro, if it does get added to the schedule, that's going to be a must visit for me.
Yeah.
I definitely want to make it down
Come
there.
on down, baby.
Which, side note, I just want to say how amazed I was. Now, again, I was just seeing it on TV, but how phenomenal that transformation of that track was.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
It's insane.
I looked at it, and it's apart from the track surface, like this looks like any other NASCAR track on the circuit. Like the
Yeah.
walls look beautiful, the
Absolutely.
stands look beautiful, like
Better
everything
than
looked
some tracks better than
Yeah.
Martinsville looks right now.
Yeah,
like,
and
holy shit. They did an
I-
amazing job.
I went to college not 30 minutes from there, and I would drive by it all the time on 421. I'm like, man, that's just sad. There's just old racetrack. It looks like total crap. It's all overgrown, and even like Drake and I went to a late model race last year when they opened up. Even from then to now, it's insane how much better it looks. And I mean, hey, that's what $20 million will do to a racetrack. So there
Which
you go.
props to your I don't know, government,
Governor, yeah.
whoever decided to reinvest in them racetracks. That's awesome.
I
Definitely,
hate
it
the
looks
people
incredible.
tweeting like everyone say thanks to Joe Biden for this. It's like, why are you bringing? Like, we get it. Joe gave out the money. Like, why are you even like trying to piss people off by saying that? It's like
Yeah.
But did Joe Biden say revenue?
I mean, it was the
Revive.
He gave the
COVID
COVID
relief
relief. He authorized. Yeah. Which is where the money came from for the track.
Yeah.
But I'm just like just calm down.
It's
like,
not
you
like
don't
he
have to bring
said,
politics
"Hey,
in.
I want to save North Wilkesboro."
Yeah,
Here's your
if
money,
Joe
guys."
put in there, I want to save North Wilkesboro because I want to relive my mullet days, then all right, thanks, Uncle Joe. But
I don't care if it was Joe. I don't care if it was Trump to send it over. Like, don't even bring it up. Like, he gave code relief
got
money.
No, that's-
saved.
Yeah.
that's your state government, you think.
right.
Whoever in the state decided we're going to put this towards racetracks, that's who you think.
Yeah.
Because that money was
So-
coming regardless.
Obviously, the Cup race, we said Larson dominated and the racing wasn't that great. But how about the Open? I thought was great. I thought it was great racing. We had the whole McDowell and Ty Gibbs deal.
Yep.
Which
I don't think
think-
Ty did anything wrong. Like, everybody wants to be
either.
so mad at Ty. Everybody's so ready to jump down Ty because they fucking hate him. But he didn't do anything wrong.
No, he did.
I mean,
he did everything.
he pushed
wrong.
McDowell a lot. Yeah.
Drake is the only person allowed to say Ty did something wrong because Drake is actually a legit McDowell fan. So I get him being annoyed. But everybody else who was jumping down Ty, who's not a McDowell fan, y'all are fucking idiots. Ty didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Unless McDowell's your driver, in which case.
He pushed McDowell, but McDowell should have lifted a little bit and just let Ty go under him, not go up and hit Haley.
I mean,
And
I get
then
it.
when he
McDowell
did
didn't
hit
want to
Haley,
lift.
they both throttled up.
I don't blame anybody. Like, I mean, Ty wanted to root McDowell out so he could get under him, which you do at a bottom lane short track. That's why everybody loved Old Bristol, right? Because that's what you did. And he did it. He moved McDowell out of the groove and got under him. And Haley was slowing up for whatever reason, and McDowell didn't want to slow up for him. So he's like, I'm going to split the middle, which I don't blame McDowell for wanting to do. And they just got squeezed. Like, I don't know. It's just what happened.
Yeah. And then, the little payback by McDowell, which it wasn't egregious, but it was entertaining at least.
Who do you think wins in a fight, McDowell and Ty? Because Ty takes like Taekwondo lessons and shit. Like,
I
Ty,
think
really?
McDowell.
you think so?
McDowell keeps
I
his
think
helmet
so.
on, so he'd win.
That's true. Well,
So does Ty.
There's
That's
Ty.
true.
They both do.
Clash of the helmets, man. Golly.
Well, didn't McDowell get beat up by Suarez a couple years ago?
I mean, not
Was
once
that-
he
was
beat
that who he
him,
fought?
But
Didn't
fight
Suarez
Suarez,
kind of come out of
Suarez
nowhere
fought-
on that one, or
yeah,
was
it
that like?
it was-
Yeah, that's true.
I was like, dude, my favorite fight until the end of time will be. I think it was Matt Kenseth. And I'm pretty sure he was going after Brad Keselowski. He just
Oh,
came
yeah,
at him
that
between
was-
the trucks like a
That's that
freaking
600,
ninja
man. That was
out
still
of
my
nowhere.
Still one of my favorite races.
Just
Second best fight was Brad versus Harv versus Jeff at Texas that one year.
Yeah, where
That was great.
kind of pushed him into
And
the fight.
it's ironic that Harvick is all now like, I'm a car store owner. I would penalize
Yeah.
people for fighting. It's like, well, dude, you did that.
Oh.
You climbed across a car way back in the day to fight somebody. Like, calm
speaking
down,
of Harvick and contradicting opinions, they brought it up in the broadcast. I wanted to ask you guys. Harvick was not excited about doing the rain tires. Next year when he's in the broadcast booth, that same situation comes up. What do you think he says? Do you think he's like, "Oh, we shouldn't do this"?
No.
Or he's like, "Yeah, let him go out there." It's always fun to see these drivers change their perspective once they get out of the
Oh,
car.
yeah. Bunch of babies.
So
in
speaking of the
car.
rain tires, real quick, quit drying the fucking track. The track was
Yes.
pretty much dry by the time we got the green flag. There's no reason. Like, you had a little bit of a weepers on there, but that's it. Quit drying the track. See what they do. I mean,
That's the whole point of having rain tires. Like,
we were
dude.
5 laps in, and the broadcast was talking about how the cars are starting to tighten up. It's like, yeah, they're tightening up because they just melted their freaking tires, and then they show them when they took them off, and guess what? They're melted. They look
Yep.
like slicks almost.
Well, then that made a little bit more exciting racing. So you know
It
what?
It did, but it's. I mean,
I think what's cool though is I think we saw that a track does not need to be bone dry to go back racing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you do not need every single square inch of that place bone freaking dry.
hell,
go
I
back
think we could
racing.
have put slicks on and went out there, and
They probably could
been
have.
fine. And actually, it probably would have been a pretty good race because they would have lost some traction, which is what we've been asking for. And who knows? So, truck race, we had a little bit of an incident too.
Oh yeah, well Haley Deegan.
Yeah,
Ew.
yeah, she well, according to the broadcast, she didn't do anything
The broadcast was really playing hard.
Yeah.
Oh wow, something
Something
went
wrong with the brakes
there.
there, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
geez.
Caused her to turn
had nothing
right.
to do with
The steering
turning
wheel
We
just
were
right,
right front.
right into Dean Thompson, just like I don't know. I kind of
was
feel
not
bad for
happy.
him. I
He was
wouldn't
not
be
happy.
either. But I mean, he's having a rough season to begin with. He should be doing better in that truck. But I mean, yeah, what the hell was up with the booth? Like, just say she intent wrecked him. She spun Timmy Hill earlier in the race, and they did the same thing. They ignored him. Oh, Timmy just got loose. Like, yeah, off her front bumper.
She got dang Mikey
But-
in there, who Haley Deegan's #1 fan for some reason. Won't say anything bad about her ever. I don't know what.
None of them do.
No.
Like, and in my opinion, she hasn't done anything in 2 decent trucks. Is this her final season with a full-time ride?
It's got to be. That's what I was thinking. The season,
Unless
like
she still has
this
that
has to be her
monster-
last shot.
Unless she still has the monster money, it will be for sure.
I mean, she's not.
Yeah, but
driving
I mean,
a monster truck now.
No, she doesn't have full-time monster money anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the smartest thing she could do is possibly try to get a part-time Xfinity ride and actually show if she's got some skill. We've heard the drivers say that, trucks, it really doesn't take much.
Am I high or did she run an Xfinity race? I thought she
I
did.
think she ran like 1 or 2 last year.
Wasn't yeah?
Or
I
a
thought she
couple
ran
years
one
ago.
this year. I thought there was maybe. I thought she ran a Kansas maybe, or am I tripping? I don't know.
I honestly don't know. I'll have to look that up.
Good question.
But I just, like I said, I think it's her last season if she doesn't start showing some kind of skill.
Yeah.
I
We'll see.
believe that.
2022 Las Vegas. She ran
That's right.
Xfinity.
That's right.
13th.
Not
Kind of
bad.
respectable. No. But again, she's had some decent trucks. I mean, she was with DGR. Now she's with Thor. And in those 3 years, she's got 4 top 10s. No top 5s. Those are some of the best trucks out there. I mean, DGR was winning races last year. But, and that kind of struck me beginning of the season this year in the truck races. Like, oh, she's finally in good equipment. It's like, she's been in good equipment. But, I don't know. Just another money over talent situation, I think. Or in this case, maybe it has something to do with just a female selling merchandise and marketing.
I mean, the problem is, it's like this is when those conversations start. I mean, you look at, Danica Patrick, the same sort of thing. Like, we want to see more diversity in the field, but then when you see somebody who's here and it's like, okay, they've shown time and time again they don't really belong here, then it kind of starts that conversation of, are they just being used to sell something? Which, you kind of got to think of Deegan at this point. She hasn't really done a whole heck of a lot. Nothing that I've seen.
No, I agree. Maybe her and Natalie Decker can get together and figure something out.
Start an OnlyFans, I guess. That's the plan.
Oh gosh.
So I mean, the only other thing I feel like we should cover from All-Star Weekend is maybe the whole Bubba Wallace stuff.
Oof.
Giving the bird to the camera and
Radio
the booze and stuff like that, and the radio comms. Not the roots I think NASCAR wanted to go back to in some respects.
No, not at all.
You
No, that is
saw some
not ideal.
great takes too. That someone was like, maybe
Oh yeah.
North
Oh,
Wilkes
my
Road
God.
didn't deserve the fucking, was it Kevin McAdams or whatever?
The best is Fox News. Whenever Fox News gets a whiff of this stuff,
God.
Oh my god!
you go into their replies. It's everything you expect. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
But I mean, I will preface all this by saying, I don't think there's anything wrong with not liking Bubba. Like, I don't. That's the one thing we really have to remember is you can not like Bubba. You can not like him because he right hooked Larson or because he did something else and you just think he's an asshole. That's fine. Bubba is one of the few personalized or drivers with personality that really just lets it show, which I commend him for. And being a fan of drivers with personality,
Right.
not everybody's gonna like that. Some people are gonna take issue with it. That's why I think everybody loves Chase, because Chase is just a blank sheet of paper. He you can project anything onto that. He's just vanilla. He's not super great, but he's also not super offensive. When you're somebody who's willing to step out there and say what you think, you risk turning some people off and pissing some people off. So, not liking Bubba is fine, but I think there's certainly a line, and I think a very easy indicator of who likes him for maybe reasons other than his personality sort of starts with whoever's pissed off about the middle finger. If somebody's mad at him about the middle finger, I think that's the barometer we use right now. If they're mad at him for flicking off the camera, probably a little bit racist.
Well, and even there was the Reddit post about it. Someone was commenting how like Raja will get booze on driver interest for trucks. It's like,
what's Raja done?
Raja hasn't done anything. He's a really nice guy, so therefore the obvious reason why they're booing him is because he's not a white person. And it's like, guys, come on, like Zach said, these are not the roots we want to go back to.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Bubba is. There are things to not like Bubba for, but that's not one of them.
It's one of my favorite things is people complaining about the finger, and they would have like Jimmy Johnson in their picture, and someone would go find a clip of Jimmy Johnson throwing the bird. And like, Chase Elliott in their bio, so it obviously shows the Chase Elliott picture. It's like, that's what was funny to me.
Twitter can be phenomenal.
Yeah, Twitter can be a cesspool, can be phenomenal. But
yeah,
I'm keeping up on Discord. I'm not gonna get too much into it because it's all unconfirmed. But apparently, Twitter has done a quite the investigative journalism on who possibly was the speaker of said comments toward Bubba. But I won't say anything else. Just I don't want to say something and it's not true. But Twitter back at it, dude. They just always find out.
Oh yeah, I mean. Supposedly the story. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Drake.
I was a different thought, so I'll come back to it later.
According to DBC, the person he was flipping off anyway was, and this was supposedly from Freddie, but Freddie wasn't there. Was, I guess, I don't know, his PR manager or whatever, who was just telling him to straighten up his jacket. That's why he was futzing with his jacket or his fire suit, because he's got sponsor logos on the collar, which we've all seen. So I guess his PR person or whatever was standing off camera, sort of doing this, like straighten it up so we can see your sponsors. So he was just kind of doing, go fuck yourself, like that to who are stuff. Like
we've all done it.
I do that with my coworkers probably every day.
Oh, I got an itch.
Yeah.
So it's just like the most normal thing in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, yeah. That's just what a time.
And it was earlier in the week that somebody, it was before the race, said they were talking about the booze, and I want to say it was Gluck, but I might be wrong. But they said there's two drivers in particular getting a lot of booze. And one was Bubba, but they wouldn't say who the other one is. Like, it's Raja. Just say it's Raja. Like, we know. Mm-hmm. And it's sad that we're at that. But, I mean, Bubba kind of owned it right away. He had an interview. It was on Twitter where he's just like, it is what it is type deal. And then he comes out, driver introduction. He's like, like, that's fucking hilarious. And, he owned it the whole race or all weekend. And, I mean, he finished second.
Yeah.
So, who's... Yeah. I don't know. He's not talented. He finished second to Kyle Larson. So, and the best one I saw was, he can't even beat Kyle Larson. Okay.
Right.
Like, a lot
He's
of
in
the
2311 equipment.
No one else beat Kyle Larson the other day. So, like... And 2011 was what, second and third? Too?
Well, and going back to like the Haley Deegan discussion, like the problem is with someone like Haley. Now people open that conversation up for someone like Bubba, which is not true for. Bubba is very good, especially at plate tracks. He's very good at plate tracks.
So with what you were saying though, is you don't have to like Bubba.
No,
I didn't like Bubba.
I didn't like him for a while.
I thought he got moved up way too quick. I didn't think he showed the talent to be moved up to Cup. He kind of blew through with Xfinity or he just went truck to Cup, didn't he?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, but still Truck Series, I think he didn't do a full year, and if he did, it was just a full year. But yeah, I just felt like he got moved up over other drivers that were probably more deserving. And now honestly, I mean, he's grown into it. He's doing a lot better. He's shown he can compete. So he got moved up too quick, in my opinion, and he's there now. Where some of these guys got moved up too quick, and they're out of the series. So Bubba, yeah, exactly. You got. Yeah. I mean, he's held his own. He's proven he deserves to be there, and again, you don't have to like him, but there's reasons that if you don't like him, you're in the wrong.
I haven't liked everything Bubba's done. I mean, I didn't like him hitting Bowman in the face with water at Charlotte, but I also didn't like Bowman right hooking him. So there's kind of tit for tat there. And then I also didn't like Bubba for wrecking Kyle Busch at Watkins Glen the one year. That pissed me off. But it's whatever. But the thing I'll say about him is, as a Kyle Busch fan, no one on that track should be getting more boos than Kyle Busch. At least pre-RCR years. I think everybody's kind of, there's been a shift since he switched to RCR. But, last year and before, nobody should be getting boos rivaling Kyle Busch. Words.
Yeah.
There's a word in there. There's some word salad. You guys figure it out. Look in the transcript. Nobody should be out booing Kyle Busch as a Kyle Busch fan. And the fact that he was kind of,
Joey
Logano,
too.
Keselowski.
Even Logano now.
Cheers.
Even Logano, I'd say shouldn't get more boos than Kyle, because Logano gets out and he's at least, hi guys, I got hair plugs. I'm super happy. Kyle Busch get out of the car after a bad day, just be a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons I find him so funny. Like an angry Kyle Busch interview is like the best thing ever.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. I think Bubba certainly gets too much flack, and I just think the middle finger thing. If they're mad about the middle finger, well, then I think we know why you don't like Bubba.
Yes, I cannot like.
You're late for the clan meeting.
Clash of Clans meeting. I hate Kyle Busch, but if he throws a finger at someone, I'm not like, what a classless piece of trash. I can't believe he'd do such a thing. I'm horrible. Just show some respect. It's like, no, it's like, I don't care. Like, I can hate the guy much as I want, but I don't hate him giving the finger. I think it's entertaining. It's just like, what, like, yeah, I think you're onto something there, Zach, with that that take.
That's our barometer.
That's the barometer. What do we want to do? Quick Fox Flub of the week. Maybe move on to the 600.
Yeah, that sounds good. Drake, didn't somebody have a rant? Joe, didn't you have a piece together rant? You mentioned?
It was kind of all about the short track stuff.
Did we hit the rant points?
Okay, good.
Short track package sucks. That was my rant. That's the hypothesis.
Good rant.
So yeah, Fox Flub of the week. Drake, you said you had one?
Yeah, I kind of have two now. I was trying to find the tweet from Coda McAdams about maybe the area didn't deserve a revival kind of thing. I didn't find the tweet to still disagree with that take. Still like Kevin, but disagree with that take. But I saw a TikTok he had posted, so this is going to be, I have two flubs. One, it was a restart, and they were coming across the line, and Mike Joy's like commenting, he's bumping him, he's going to move him, and they're showing the front stretch, and then they watch all the cars go by as Mike's commenting something happening on turn 1 and 2, and not only do they not cut to what Mike's talking about, they also hold the camera there for a good 3 seconds after the entire field's passed. And I'm like, are we just like, do we fall asleep? Like, what's going on here? The second one was from this TikTok. It's they have an onboard of, I think, Blaney, and Clint says, he's like, listen to this thing up out of 2, like, stay with me here, like, listen to his throttle out of the corner. Then they cut as he's going out of the corner. Apparently you can hear him throw his pen across the room.
Man,
I remember hearing that.
So it's just like, what are you doing, man? Zach, I think you had one too.
Yeah, well, just to comment on that, like, I was watching, again, going back to old races that I'm watching.
Oh, like, you're watching old races?
I'm watching old races. In case you haven't heard,
do that, honestly.
I'm telling you, you do it. Even like I started with just trying to compare the broadcast, and there was actually something really relevant to this that I saw. So they're talking about, they're racing at Fontana, and the sun was setting, and they're talking about how difficult it is to see going in the corner, and they show a little interview with Elliott Sadler. He's saying, well, it's not just hard seeing going into the corner, but when you're driving away because your mirror is all blocked out with sun, you can't see nothing behind you. And within seconds of a pre-recorded Elliott Sadler interview saying that, they switched to a bumper cam that's not only do they switch to a bumper cam, but it's actually driving away from the sun to prove his point. And it's just like, holy shit, that all came together like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, it's nuts. Like the attention to detail they used to have. But this was also NBC. This wasn't Fox, but Fox was still good back then. But this was NBC that was doing that broadcast. My flub was going to be how Fox just has this weird obsession with when we go green, instead of showing the cars funnel into turn one, they have to show the flag stand or something else. Like they did the last time I remember doing that. Yeah, I remember them doing it at the Clash. Like they're getting ready, they're taking the green, and as soon as they take the green flag, they turn the cameras around to the fans in the crowd. Like, I want to see the cars go into turn one. And they did the same thing here. But really, I think my Fox flub of the week is letting the director of Fox go on DBC and sound like a complete fucking asshole.
That whole episode.
That was terrible.
I didn't listen to it, just from what I've heard. That whole episode could be the flub of the week. Flub of the month, of the year.
If you have not seen that DBC episode, we do not advertise other podcasts on this channel.
Especially
We just reference them and steal their material.
Yes.
If you're gonna listen to any episode, that's the one. I'm gonna listen to it when I commute tomorrow.
It's so frustrating.
It explains, like, when you listen to this guy talk, it explains everything. Like everything, even from the children, the weird, creepy kid talk. He calls himself Peter Pan at one point.
Like I said, we found the pedo.
Yeah, it explains everything. You're just like, oh, okay, this makes sense. I mean, like,
checks out.
Well, and we've mentioned how many times on here, it's like he's not even a race fan. He says he's a football guy. It's like, oh,
he played college football. Yeah.
Played college football. He's done Super Bowls, stuff like that.
It all checks out.
And it's like, look, and he's like, oh, I went to a dirt track once a month, like growing up. I was like, okay, great. Like,
and
I didn't do that growing up, but I know more than you. Right? I know more about
racing. What class did you like? And he's like, oh, I wouldn't know. I just liked it.
Yeah, it was go-kart. It was dirt go-karts for with kids, which would check out. So
and I only listened to the first few minutes of it, and I heard a lot of this from Zach this morning, but
I was bitching.
The big thing that pissed me off, and this I guess would be my flub of the week, is he's like, oh, I don't know if he said him or him specifically or all of Fox. They don't listen to social media or any of the fan reaction. It's like, well, dude, yeah, it's one thing if you disregard, Billy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 with an egghead profile who has 2 followers, but when you have everyone almost unanimously disliking something, you know how rare it is to get people to agree on things these days? If most of NASCAR Twitter says, hey, don't do that. Hey, this guy in the booth is maybe not good. Maybe listen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And I'm not saying fire a broadcaster based off of Twitter, right? Like, world's not that simple. But like,
talk with them, make them maybe change a little bit of what they're doing.
And like all these weird camera angles and stuff like that, there's a reason why. Like, and I was telling the group before we got on, like, I have a friend who works for Fox Sports, and they're not directly on NASCAR, but I tell them stuff all the time, like, hey, we saw this on the broadcast, and it's not just me, it's everyone. And they're like, oh, I don't know. We don't know. We never heard about it. So they just don't know what they're doing wrong, or they do and won't change it.
Yeah.
It just explained a lot of things. It doesn't answer your questions, but it at least explains why we are where we are.
So,
I think.
What I found funny is I think it was our first week with the Fox Flub of the Week, or it might have been just right after Daytona. I emailed this guy and asked him to come on this show.
He must have gotten a confused with the other major NASCAR podcast.
He did. He's like, oh, whoops, I had the wrong show.
Oh, dang it, I went to the big egoed one, not the
somehow I'm
right one.
I'm at Junior Motorsports, not just in some weird Discord channel. Huh, weird. How'd I get here?
Yeah. But, I mean, my only complaint is the one we have every week, and we're always on a roof cam. We're always on a bumper cam. Every wreck or incident that happened this week, we were on a roof cam when they happened. I mean, we were on Ty Gibbs' roof cam when he was pushing McDowell into Haley. So Get
Who-
off the fucking roof and bumper cams.
Who was it that was racing? I forget which. I forget which one it was. You know what? It might have been Chase and Suarez. And Chase was leading. It was in their heat, I guess.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
And Suarez was trying to set him up to get around him, and they're just on Chase's bumper cam for like 5 laps. Like, dude, take me to a wider shot. Let me see Suarez working lines and actually trying to get a run in. Like, let me see this play out from an angle other than the fucking bumper cam.
If his car gets squirrely going in or out, let me see that. So I like in my head and go, oh, he got loose or something like that.
Right.
But nope, just bumper to bumper.
That's it.
Yay.
So there's our flubs of the week.
Okay, so I just want to say, guys,
Oh.
we are the only podcast besides for The Athletic to do this.
There you go.
Joe and Drake,
What's
you guys are going to the Coke 600.
Oh,
We
we
will be
are
reporting
what?
live
Oh, yeah,
from the
that
Coke
sounds like a
600.
prize.
I am going to the Indy 500.
Ayo.
Zach's
I'm
going to Monaco.
Surprise! You got to sell some stuff to get the tickets.
We'll live
sweet.
broadcast
Fun.
from our tailgate of
Our
35 people.
It's gonna be a movie. It's gonna be great.
We'll get
Hopefully it doesn't rain.
this weekend.
We got all
Hopefully
my
it doesn't
coworkers
rain.
who have never seen a single NASCAR race's opinions on Kyle Busch and Bubba
All
Wallace
love him.
and just the whole field.
Yeah. No. Well, yeah. I was actually thinking we'll try and put some content on the Twitter and get some sound bites and stuff from the Sunday festivities. Just
Kyle hasn't been
hopefully-
too sassy, so they might not have much of an opinion on him.
That's
He's
true.
been pretty tame.
But everyone do your
Maybe Ross.
no rain dance for Charlotte's 50-50.
Oh yeah, what were you
shot
guys
right
saying?
now,
What's 50-50?
50-50? Yeah. So
Ugh.
do your
That's
rain
rough.
dances. We don't want the rain.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be great, and it won't be
That's
100 degrees like it was last year. That was painful.
always my
But-
biggest fear going into this weekend is like, God, I don't want rain to ruin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What does it look like for Indy? Are they good?
80
I
and
don't-
sunny.
Oh,
Perfect.
beautiful.
Perfect.
There you
So
go.
it's just Coke 600. Which if they start that a little late, I don't care. When did it say it's gonna rain?
Six. The kind of all day right now is just 50% chance. But that'll. I mean, we're
good.
still 5 days out. That can change.
I'm excited for the 600 though, man. It's
100%.
put on a
Last
good
year was a
show.
great one.
Last year, the intermediates have shined with this car, so
Yeah.
I got high hopes. Hopefully, the
I just-
broadcast doesn't miss it all.
Yeah.
I
we'll be in
love this day. It is the best day as a race fan.
Wake
and
up
it's
F1.
gonna be great.
I got
I mean,
these.
and-
F1 ends Indy.
I got
After Indy ends.
I got these
Coke.
Ego lawn tool equipments. This is not sponsored. I got this indiscriminate
you
brand.
got
Point to
ego.
his head. Yeah.
I got this indiscriminate branded electric. Yeah, I did get Ego, but I got a few of their tools this weekend, and I saw that they make essentially like a little generator that runs off the batteries, and so
yeah.
for like $150, I'm gonna potentially try to pick that up so we can have a TV at our tailgate to watch the other racing going on that day and just work.
Does it
off
come with a
hotspot
battery?
or
What
something.
time is the redacted car at? Like 12?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So,
So-
that's like
What
right
time-
about
what
when
time in
we're
Monaco?
tailgating.
8 or
9?
Usually like 9,
8 or 9
I think.
a.m.
But yeah, it's all the tools I got came with the mower came with a bigger one, and the other two came with smaller ones. And then I don't know if the generator itself or the power inverter technically, I don't know if that would come with them. But either way, I'd
It
have
might come
3
with one.
batteries to run off of them.
I want
so.
the Milwaukee one.
There we go.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
And I can bring my small
love my
TV
Ego
screen
stuff.
and we can
Yeah,
get this
I can
going.
bring a fire
Anyone-
stick too, or we can just
Anyone from
just
Ego that may be listening, Drake bought his stuff off of my recommendation, so you can contact me
podcast,
for any
please?
sort of.
Mile?
I did. I got a mower, weed eater, and a blower. So
Yep, all off of my
and
recommendation.
I got an air blower
Not-
too. So
not an ad, but maybe.
maybe potentially.
I'm telling you, if you're going electric stuff, Ego's pretty good.
Potentially, if they sponsor us, they're definitely the way to go.
If
Right
they
now,
sponsor us, they're great. If they don't, they're fucking trash.
I'm returning it all and buying
Well,
Cobalt.
This is now a hostage
Hey,
situation.
We brought up redacted car. They had quali on I think Sunday or this past weekend,
Yeah.
but apparently the fastest quali it's been in quite a long time.
See that one guy
Yeah.
broke
Since
170,000 miles per hour.
96.
Yeah, neat.
Yeah.
And sadly that practice wreck yesterday, Stefan broke his back, but seems like it could have been a lot worse from what I saw. So glad that
Why
seems
is
to be doing all
Captain
right.
Leg still in a car? I don't get why
Is she
she's
not
out
good?
there. She's never been anything spectacular, and she shows up for the Indy 500 qualifying every year. Doesn't make it, makes it this year, and breaks somebody's back the next day. Just and now one of her teammates gets in the race because hey, we got this opening. Weird how that works, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, she just ran the guy over. Like I don't get it.
That was pretty bad.
I don't know.
What I saw.
I don't
Who
know.
knows? But I'm excited for Sunday. It's gonna be a fun day of racing.
Yeah.
Speaking of last week, though, last week racing, there's also a 24-hour Nürburgring, and I just thought it was kind of cool. The winning team, oh my God, what is their name? I forget, but they're ran by Klaus Albelin. He is the husband of the late Sabina Schmidt, who some may know as the queen of the Nürburgring, who passed away. I believe she had breast cancer or something. But she passed away a couple years ago. And they ended up, I think this is the first time they won. And they won overall.
Good.
So that was just kind of a cool
Good
story.
for them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But that was a really cool race. 24-hour Nürburgring. If you ever find it on YouTube, they usually stream it. It is wild.
There's clips of the safety car stuff, man.
Yeah, that was
absolutely nuts.
I thought that was like, I'm like, did they just get like banned from
it's
racing?
fine.
I'm like, holy shit, that's
what
wild.
they do. Yeah, I didn't know
That's
that.
what they do. It is nuts.
It was
insane.
I mean, it makes sense, right? But
yeah, it does. But
well, so like what they do, it's weird because they're like super safe. So they have like these code 60 things. So like what they'll do is whenever there's an accident, they have to have safety crews out. They'll just basically do a yellow, but I think they run with basically the pit limiter on. So they're only going, I think it's 60 kilometers an hour, hence the code 60. But then once they get it loaded up on the wrecker and they're driving around the track, it's let it rip, boys.
I think I was reading comments. Technically, you do have to like slow down. Like you still have a warning when it's coming, so you're not supposed to run at full pace. But like,
who's
it's
counting?
pretty damn close to full pace. So
man.
Oh man.
But it's just so cool because you get like GT3 cars out there, and they have like 18 different classes. Like you have everything from GT3s and GT4s all the way down to just like, I don't know, somebody who got 4 dudes together and want to run around their family hatchback.
Well,
hey, next year, Green White Checker podcast entry.
There we go.
In that race.
Yeah, there we go. I will say I really hope it doesn't. There's not a light drizzle in Monaco this weekend. Otherwise,
I know.
Man.
They don't run in the rain in Formula One.
Yeah,
as we found out last year.
They have rain tires. They have better rain tires than us, probably.
Yeah, but they don't run in the rain.
But and I was gonna say another quick other motorsport news, which kind of made the rounds, was our local short track here in North Carolina, Hickory Motor Speedway, had quite the beef between Landon Huffman and Annabeth Crum and their spotters.
Pretty crummy.
Yeah, it was crummy, and it was short track racing until she made it not short track racing.
Yeah,
and she needs to be not allowed back at that track anytime soon. And I think they arrested her husband because he literally assaulted Landon's dad. So
yeah, he did.
Oh boy, I still haven't seen anything.
Assault with malicious intent.
Yeah, that might be a felony. We'll see about that.
Stay tuned.
I'm just looking up real quick to see if there's any.
Frickadelli Racing is who won Nürburgring 24, and a Ferrari. So Ferrari won't be allowed there anymore.
He did, yes. I was trying to see if there was any.
The video. Good for him.
I haven't seen any penalties yet for Annabeth, but I'm sure those will come soon.
Chris.
I mean, after she got moved, she tried to right hook him, so
that's bad
first
enough,
of all,
yeah,
and then she just spun herself the old Danica Patrick way, and then she just goes up and nails him. Like, come on,
under caution too. And I was watching his recap video. I didn't know this, and apparently her husband immediately when Landon moved her in turn 3 and 4, immediately went over to beat his dad up. Like I thought it was after everything.
No,
but it was right
away.
then. Like, dude, what snapped? It was literally short track racing, dog. Yeah. I don't know. That's wild. She does not deserve
kids or older women.
Does not deserve to drive any, even at GoPro. Does not deserve to run any race cars anytime soon. Trackhouse, yes, they did.
I mean, her husband didn't do shit in Truck Series, so
he wrecked somebody. I just saw that clip.
I didn't
see that.
Completely hooked.
The funniest tweet out of all that was, like you reading this tweet have more top 10s than he does in like from Arca trucks
Same,
and Xfinity,
Well,
or the same amount of.
any updates on the kill count?
No, we didn't do
Oh,
the
that's right.
Clash, so
Unofficial.
I figured we'd just take this week off.
Well, there wasn't really much action in LCRS
I don't think we
anyway.
really
So
had anybody anyway.
Yeah.
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 Survivor pool.
Survivor pool.
So just to recap, I can't remember who we picked. We did a pick for
Drake won with
All-Star race. Well, I was saying the All-Star
Byron.
race.
Oh yeah.
I don't even remember who our picks were, so we'll ignore that.
I won.
Drake won when we did this for real at Darlington with Byron. And then I was second with Kyle Busch, who was P7, and then
No, Andrew was second.
No, you wrecked
Oh,
me.
you're right.
Remember?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Out of order.
yeah. So I was second with Kyle Busch, who finished P7. Andrew was third
Andrew,
with
like
Larson
20th.
in 20th, and then Joe with Ross, who was 29th. So,
Yeah.
Joseph, would you like to lead us off with your pick for the Coca-Cola 600?
Give me Harv. I don't know.
Okay, hard.
First name I saw on the list that I haven't picked yet, so I don't know. Just kind of sunning it at this point.
Bold pick with Ford showing absolutely no speed whatsoever.
Yeah, I might
but
regret that, but
I mean, if I was going to pick a Ford, it probably would have been Harvick. It's not bad.
it is also somewhat of a race of attrition, so maybe he'll be there at the end. He's been the best Ford by miles this year.
Mr.
So.
Closer, that's what they call him, Mr. Closer. So
Yeah, we'll see. He better not win in front of me though. I'll be mad.
Andrew, who you got?
Man, we're getting down to it towards rough picking drivers. I was gonna pick one of the 23 XL guys. It's gonna be Bubba. He's showing some speed.
Good pick.
We'll see if he can last the 600 miles, but I think he's fast enough.
I feel like he's been tripping over his own feet lately.
Yeah,
I think
that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
Coming off a second, he can do it.
Me next, I will take Kyle Larson. He's on a hot streak right now, so why not?
Never heard of him.
We're throwing some extra horsepower.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Going back to that 20.
I'm hoping he keeps that. That $1 million buys him another motor with 15 extra horsepower.
Really on a hot streak, farming the lower leagues. So
that's right.
Carrying some momentum.
Mr. Drake, who you got?
I haven't picked him yet, so I guess I'll go Ross.
Oh, Ross.
Ooh.
Get some speed going. Speaking of Bubba, no one showed Joe his paint scheme for I think it's this weekend because there's quite a lot of blank space on there, and Joe doesn't like it when there's blank space on race cars.
No,
I'm looking on.
At this point, it's got to be the Dr. Pepper person, right?
Yeah, it does.
Dr. Pepper is just not put out good speed.
I mean,
I can't think of the last
soda. Feel free to
that
sponsor
Columbia.
Oh my God,
last weekend looked awesome.
Wow.
I can't think of a good Dr. Pepper paint scheme.
No, at least with Bubba.
I can't think of one at all.
I didn't mind the 2000s Xfinity one.
Give me one.
The
Give me one.
26 car.
All right.
Car.
That
26.
What? My eyes are bleeding looking at this.
Who drove that?
Oh, is this the old one? Okay, I do
Bobby
like
Hamilton. Yeah,
this. Yeah. Okay, I wasn't going that far back in the old memory banks, but yeah, that one's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean it's nothing special, but it's not horrible.
Well, here's a Dr. Yeah, this is a Bubba car. Cream soda Dr. Pepper car.
Yeah.
That's not awful.
Yeah, they've had a couple not awful ones.
But yeah, still not. Good
They still haven't had ones where I'm like, that is a good scheme. Like they've had a couple that weren't terrible, I guess, but nothing.
I mean, this Bobby Hamilton one would have been great for throwback weekend.
That would have been a pretty decent throwback.
Hey, look at we got this QR code on the hood, guys. QR code. Yeah. Anybody scan it? How many people you actually scan that?
How are you supposed to scan a car going by like that?
I'm guessing they had like a short commercial.
With Fox's super zoomed in fucking cameras.
True.
My favorite tweet was that one. I forget. I think Joe, you shared it, but I forget who it was from. But it was like Fox's 2 camera angles, and one was like the bow tie of a Craftsman truck, of like the grill of it, and then the other one was the whole planet. Like, yep, those are Fox's 2 angles.
Oh man, yeah,
Wow.
Especially at that All-Star race, it was literally rear bumper cam, front bumper cam, or blimp from outer space.
Yeah, I'm just googling
Dr.
Pepper.
I like the blimp.
Yeah.
I missed that blimp view. And compared to NASCAR or Fox's, we're only going to show the same 2 cars all race. The blimp at least showed 5.
It does.
I don't know.
So, well, that does it for our picks. What's next? What do we got? Is it betting? Time to waste some money?
A couple picks.
Yeah. Hey, we won money with Reddick this week.
Hey, all right.
There you go.
We had his outright in his top 3. He got a 3rd place, so that was a nice little hit. But honestly, I'm not really digging anything for the Cup side right now. But IndyCar, I got some bets. I've been kind of going hard in it since I'll be there. Scott Dixon. He was going to win it last year, but got a speeding penalty on the final pit stop. Zach, did you just read that tweet?
No, I just thought it was a 12-year-old joke.
Oh. But yes. Scott Dixon plus 800. Last year's winner, though, Dixon.
What's a Dixon?
Cider. Yeah.
We are children.
I couldn't help it. I'm sorry.
And then last year's winner, Ericsson, is sitting at plus 1100. It was also the fastest in yesterday's practice. I mean, he's shown the speed. He's starting like 10th, which, not great, but it's a 500-mile race. Anybody can get there. And Sato, I think, also has a lot of speed. He's a
feisty SOB.
He is. He got in the wall last year, wrecked out. I think he did 2 years ago, too. He was leading 2 years ago at 1.2 when I was there. So, I don't know. I like him to win. I kind of want odds to settle down a little bit. So, closer to the end of this week, we'll probably put some on the old Picks by Fitz Twitter.
There you go. Where are you sitting for the race?
I will be right out, like, front stretch right out of 4.
Nice.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
That'll be cool.
We'll be in turn 1 for the 600. All our fans come say hi.
Yeah, we'll be there. Come on. Indy 500 is definitely a bucket list for me. I'll have to make it there one year.
Then fly back to Charlotte for the 600.
Yeah,
just double.
Hey, make it happen. But who's got the helicopter connection? We'll hop on with Kyle when he does it next year.
There you go.
Yeah. Who's he racing with? Or
McLaren.
McLaren. Yeah, McLaren.
McLaren. Contact them. See if we can borrow their private jet.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
He's flying Hendrick.
We'll be a bigger We'll be a bigger podcast than Joe Rogan by then, so it'll be easy to take.
We already are.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, I guess that's it. So, thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for anybody checking us out on YouTube. Appreciate you. Be sure to follow us on our social medias at the GWC Pod on Twitter. I don't know what our YouTube is. Drake, what's our YouTube?
At the Green White Checker Podcast.
Yeah. Stay tuned on Sunday. We'll hopefully have some live from the Coke 600 and maybe Indy.
Yeah, give your Twitter handles so people can go and follow you.
Give me about at Shaken Drake _TTV. See it on our YouTube channel there too.
At J_Sully10.
At Picks by Fitz.
I am at Biggles TV. You can see me
watching
live
TV
in Monaco from my couch.
Can't wait. Zach, you have some good Photoshop skills. You can pull that off.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
Cool.
So,
yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Hey.
Oh, one more time.